Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that it touches nearly every industry on the planet,
Hmm.
project management.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly vital for driving success. I mean, whether you're building software, constructing a skyscraper, or launching a new marketing campaign, right?
Absolutely. And you see organizations everywhere trying to maximize efficiency,
Yeah,
deliver value.
exactly.
Huh.
And so the demand for skilled project managers and, by extension, project management certifications, it's just absolutely surged.
It really has.
So our focus today is on one of the most prominent entry-level qualifications, the Certified Associate in Project Management, or CAPM, that's administered by the Project Management Institute, PMI.
Right. And our mission with this deep dive, essentially, is to explore the true value of the CAPM certification. We're not just here to list benefits, but to really dig into its core purpose, who it's actually best for.
Yeah, who gets the most out of it?
Precisely. And ultimately to offer a nuanced perspective on whether it's truly worth it for folks early in their career or maybe looking to transition into project-type roles.
Okay.
We've pulled comprehensive insights from a pretty solid article on PM Connection, so that gives us a really good foundation to go beyond just the surface level stuff.
And we're going to cover a lot of ground for you, um, aiming to give you a bit of a shortcut to being incredibly well-informed.
Hmm.
We'll explore exactly who should pursue the CAPM, what employers really think of it,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, we'll dive into the salary insights, but, with a critical eye. We'll even compare it strategically to other big names in the certification world like PMP and Prince 2.
With comparison points.
Plus, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of eligibility, the exam structure, costs, and even try to peer into future trends.
Sounds like a plan.
So to get us started, what's the fundamental premise behind the CAPM? What exactly is this credential?
Okay, so fundamentally, the Certified Associate in Project Management, the CAPM, it's an entry-level credential offered by PMI. And it's crucial to understand PMI's scale here. They are the world's leading project management professional organization. They've got over 1.7 million certification holders globally. That's huge.
Wow, okay.
So the CAPM is specifically designed for individuals, new to project management, maybe those looking to formalize knowledge they already kind of have, but without years of prior experience,
Right.
or anyone maybe considering a transition into project-based roles. It's really all about validating a solid understanding of the fundamental methodologies, principles, terminology, primarily what's in PMI's project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK.
Yes, to be okay.
And it's explicitly positioned as a crucial stepping stone towards those more advanced certifications, particularly the PMP, the Project Management Professional.
Wait, so you're saying someone could, theoretically go from absolutely no formal project management experience straight to being a certified CAPM? That seems like a pretty low barrier to entry for a professional credential.
It is, yeah, and that's kind of the point.
Here's where it gets really interesting for many of you listening. That accessibility.
Precisely. Unlike those advanced certs that demand years of hands-on project leadership, the CAPM does not.
Okay.
This makes it an ideal starting point for a really broad audience: students, recent grads, professionals changing careers entirely, even current project team members who just want to formalize their skills and, get that common language.
Makes sense.
The eligibility requirements, as of 2025, they're quite straightforward. You need a secondary diploma, so high school diploma, GED, or a global equivalent. And you also need to complete 23 contact hours of project management education.
23 hours, okay.
Yeah. And the application process itself is pretty streamlined. You register on the PMI certification portal, put in your educational details, list those 23 hours of coursework, submit, and once approved, you pay your exam fee and schedule your test. You can take it at a Pearson VUE testing center or as an online proctored exam.
Oh, online option too.
Yep. And you're allowed up to 3 attempts within a 1-year period, which, offers a bit of peace of mind.
Okay, so once you're committed, the next big hurdle is often the exam itself. What can candidates expect there, especially with that significant 2023 update we heard about? What changed?
Right. The 2023 update was, it was pretty transformative. It brought in business analysis and agile content alongside the more traditional predictive or, waterfall methodologies.
Oh, okay, so more modern approaches.
Exactly. Which means the CAPM exam is highly relevant to how projects actually get done today, often blending different approaches. The exam itself, it's 150 questions.
About 50.
Yep, can be multiple choice, drag and drop, even some visual formats. And you get 180 minutes, so 3 hours, to complete it, usually with a 10-minute break in there somewhere.
3 hours. Okay. It sounds like it really covers a lot of ground. I'm curious, with so many different areas, is there one domain that tends to be the most challenging for new candidates? Or maybe where people often underestimate the depth required?
That's a perceptive question. While the exam does evaluate across 4 key knowledge domains, each with a specific weighting, the project management fundamentals and core concepts, which is the biggest chunk at 36%, that one often surprises candidates with its breadth.
Okay, the fundamental.
Yeah. Then you've got 17% on predictive plan-based methodologies, 20% on agile frameworks and methodologies, and then 27% on business analysis frameworks.
Business analysis, interesting.
It is, and the topics spanned within these domains are quite extensive, really practical. They make sure key APM holders are well-rounded. It covers the whole project life cycle, from foundational stuff like integration, scope, schedule, cost management, right, through to critical aspects like quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder engagement. It ensures you're, conversant in all the key practices and understand the what and the how of project delivery across different industries.
Okay, so let's move beyond the exam then. For those listening, what does this actually mean for their career trajectory? What kind of roles does CAPM realistically unlock?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the CAPM really acts as a launch pad. It's ideal for those entry-level roles like project coordinator, project analyst, assistant project manager, or project administrator.
Right, the starting points.
Exactly. These are common starting points that can then lead to more senior titles like project manager or even program manager as you get experience and, demonstrate leadership.
So it validates your knowledge.
It validates that structured knowledge,
Yeah.
raises your credibility. And just to put it into perspective, PMI estimates nearly 30 million more project professionals will be needed worldwide by 2035. That just underscores the immense demand for these validated skills.
30 million.
Yeah.
That's an astonishing figure. But, in an increasingly competitive market, does having the CAPM genuinely set you apart? Or is it maybe becoming more of a baseline expectation, something that just gets your resume past that initial filter?
That's a really crucial distinction, and honestly, it kind of depends on the specific job market and the industry you're looking at.
Okay.
While it undeniably helps candidates differentiate themselves, it signals initiative, commitment to the field, all that good stuff in some high-demand sectors or for certain organizations. Yeah, it is increasingly becoming a baseline.
So more like table stakes in some cases.
Sort of. Think of it as opening the door to consideration rather than guaranteeing the job, maybe. But it is widely recognized. North America, Europe, APAC, the Middle East, so its global applicability definitely adds significant weight.
That global aspect is important.
Very. Plus, it directly counts towards eligibility for the PMP, providing that clear, logical progression path. And for employers, they see PMI certifications as evidence you adhere to international standards. That makes AKPM holders valuable in sectors like IT, construction, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, defense, you name it.
So employers do value it.
Oh, yeah. Employer testimonials often suggest it's a huge asset on the resume, not necessarily because it makes you utterly unique, but because it assures them you have that foundational understanding, that common language.
Okay, let's talk numbers then. The salary figures we've seen are pretty compelling, seem quite high for entry level. But what's the true story behind those salary ranges? Is getting a CAPM like a magic bullet for a pay bump?
Yeah, that's always the crucial consideration, isn't it? And the answer is it's more like a foundational multiplier, not really a magic bullet.
Okay, a multiplier. Explain that.
Well, according to PMI, CAPM certified folks in the U.S. earn an average of maybe $70,000 to $74,000 per year. Mid-level roles, with more experience, of course, could reach up to $120,000. Forbes Advisor says CAPM holders can earn up to 20% more than non-certified peers at the entry level.
20% is significant.
It is. Coursera cites ranges from $75,000 to $92,000 for CAPM certified pros in 2025. Then you have sources like Indeed or ProjectManagement.com estimating medians for roles like project coordinators or junior PMs. Often CAPM holders may be more, around $54,000 to $67,000.
So there's a range.
Definitely a range. And while these figures are compelling, the real insight isn't just the average. It's understanding that those at the higher end often combine the CAPM with, demonstrable soft skills, communication, leadership, or specific industry experience, maybe even a complementary technical skill.
Well, it's part of the package.
Exactly. It's a powerful credential that enhances your market value, absolutely, but it's rarely the only factor driving that salary.
Okay, so considering the investment required time, money, what's the typical return people can expect? And what factors really push that ROI higher?
Good question. The initial costs, they typically range from maybe $500 to $900. That covers the exam, the required training, study materials, that sort of thing.
Okay, under $1,000 generally.
Generally, yeah. But these costs are often offset pretty quickly, maybe within the first year or two, because of those potentially higher starting salaries and just having more career opportunities open up.
Makes sense.
Key factors influencing salary and therefore the ROI. Industry sector is a big one. Tech, consulting, they often pay higher premiums. Geographic region matters too.
Sure.
Any supplemental experience you bring to the table and the size of the organization can also play a role. And, it's worth noting the indirect financial benefits too, like PMI certifications are increasingly used as criteria for promotion, which definitely impacts your long-term earnings.
All right, the long game. Okay, moving to the practicalities then. Let's talk brass tacks.
Yes.
What's the actual financial and time investment needed to get this certification? And then importantly, how do you keep it current?
Okay, the cost structure is fairly transparent. The exam fee itself is $225 if you're a PMI member, $300 if you're not.
The member discount.
Yeah, and it's often strategic to become a PMI member. Costs $139 annually, plus a small $10 application fee first time. But it lowers your exam fee, lowers your renewal fee later.
And you get resources.
Exactly. You get access to a ton of resources, including the PMBOK guide itself, the required 23 hours of training. That can run anywhere from maybe $200 to $500. Study materials typically add another $50 to $250.
Okay.
So your total initial outlay is usually somewhere between $500 and $900, like we said. Then once you've earned it, recertification is required every 3 years.
Every 3 years, okay. What does that involve?
It involves completing 15 professional development units, PDUs, and paying a renewal fee. That fee is $60 for members, $150 for non-members.
And PDUs, how do you get those?
Oh, various ways. Formal learning, volunteering, even teaching project management topics can count. And let's be honest, studying for any certification can feel a bit like trying to drink from a fire hose, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But with the right resources, PMI has authorized on-demand exam prep. There are online courses and boot camps from platforms like Coursera or Udemy, practice exams, study groups you can manage the flow. Most successful candidates recommend about 2 to 3 months of structured study.
2 to 3 months, okay. That's
Yep.
a reasonable time frame. This naturally brings up the question, though. For someone evaluating their options, how does CAPM truly stack up against the other major certifications out there? Like you mentioned PMP, Prince 2. How do they compare?
That's an excellent point because there are indeed many options, and it can get confusing. The PMP, for instance, that's really considered the gold standard for experienced professionals.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Yeah, it requires 3 to 5 years of actual project leadership experience. PMP holders typically earn significantly more, averaging $110,000 to $120,000 or even higher annually. The CAPM is truly a stepping stone to the PMP, especially for those who don't yet meet those tough experience requirements.
Got it. What about Prince 2?
Then there's Prince 2 projects in controlled environments. It's more of a methodology-oriented certification. It's huge in the UK, EU, and Commonwealth countries.
More geographically focused then.
To some extent, yeah. It's available at foundation and practitioner levels, and the foundation level also requires no experience, similar to KPM in that respect. But the KPM, by contrast, provides a broader view based on the PMBOK standards, focusing on general project management principles applicable pretty much worldwide.
So Prince 2 is methodology,
Yeah.
KPM is broader principles?
Kind of. While Prince 2 is very project lifecycle focused and methodology driven, CAPM gives you more flexibility and prepares you for a wider range of project contexts, including agile and hybrid approaches, especially after that 2023 update.
Okay. Are there others worth mentioning quickly?
Sure, there are niche ones too, like Certified Scrum Master, CSM, if you're focused purely on Agile Scrum roles. There's PMI ACP for more advanced Agile practitioners, CompTIA Project++. But CAPM's unique strength really lies in its broad recognition, that foundational rigor, and its accessibility for entry-level folks across industries.
Okay, that clarifies the landscape quite a bit. Yeah. Stepping back for a moment, then let's consider the broader picture.
Yeah.
You mentioned projections of nearly 30 million more project professionals needed. What does the future hold for certifications like CAPM, and how is it adapting?
Right, that 30 million figure by 2035 is staggering. And this demand, it's being driven by these really powerful forces. Digital transformation everywhere, globalization connecting everything, and just the increasing complexity of business ecosystems.
Things aren't getting simpler.
Definitely not. And all these trends make robust project management skills more critical than ever. You see it across IT, construction, government, finance, healthcare, everywhere. The growing prominence of certifications means employers are increasingly requiring, or at least preferring, candidates with PMI certs, even for lower-level project roles.
So the demand for certified people is growing.
Absolutely. And the CAPM exam's recent integration of agile and hybrid approaches, that directly ensures its continued relevance in this dynamic project landscape. Plus, think about the rise of remote and hybrid work.
Good point.
That's accelerated demand for professionals who are good at virtual team coordination, digital collaboration tools, skills that are actually embedded in many CAPM preparation programs and exam domains.
So it sounds like investing in a CAPM certification is likely to remain a pretty wise career move. But what's maybe a common misconception about the value of formal certification that you often encounter, especially among an audience like ours that probably already knows a fair bit about project management?
That's a fantastic question. I think a key takeaway, especially for a more experienced listener, is that CAPM isn't just about learning what you don't know. It's often about standardizing what you do know.
Standardizing, interesting.
Yeah, the misconception is often that it's just, piece of paper,
Okay.
a checkbox. But what it really provides is a common language and a universally understood framework.
Hmm.
And that can dramatically improve communication, reduce friction, enhance efficiency, especially in larger, more complex organizations or when you're collaborating across different teams or even geographies.
So it facilitates teamwork.
Exactly. It's less about ticking a box and maybe more about acquiring a shared mental model for project success that, frankly, speaks volumes to employers and colleagues alike.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together then. What does this all mean? We've really unpacked the CAPM. We've seen its robust curriculum, its relatively low barrier to entry, which is key, and its broad employer recognition. But we also understand its place as more of a foundational stepping stone, not the end goal itself. It seems clear that this certification offers a pathway for career entry, advancement, and mobility.
Definitely.
It validates not just your knowledge of project management fundamentals, but also your commitment to the profession, which, are key attributes that positively influence hiring decisions.
And from an organizational perspective, having CTM certified staff can lead to really tangible benefits, productivity gains, higher project success rates, increased stakeholder confidence. For individuals, like we discussed, it can translate to quantifiable salary premiums, greater job security, and just new avenues for professional development.
Yeah.
The CAPM truly offers unique advantages. That accessibility, its scalability as a stepping stone to the PMP, and its undeniable international recognition as a standard bearer for foundational PM knowledge. In today's really complex, project-driven world, structured and effective project execution is just more valuable than ever.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So here's maybe a provocative thought for you, our listener, to consider as we wrap up. How might formalizing your project management knowledge with a credential like CAPM impact your current role, even if you're not in a formal project manager position right now? How might having that common language, that clear framework for success, how might that even influence how you approach problem solving beyond just specific projects?
That's a great point.
Yeah, really think about the value of those standardized foundational skills in today's increasingly project-driven world.